The first time Maya Kensington brought Ryan home, her mother took one look at his oil-stained work boots and decided his fate in 3 seconds flat. "Absolutely not," Catherine Kensington said the moment Ryan excused himself to use the bathroom. She stood in her designer kitchen, diamond tennis bracelet catching the light as she gripped her wine glass. "Maya, darling, you cannot be serious about this man." Maya felt her stomach drop. She had expected resistance, but not this immediate, visceral rejection. "Mom, you just met him. You haven't even given him a chance." "I have seen enough." Catherine set down her glass with a sharp click against the marble counter. "He works with his hands. He drives a truck. He lives in that neighborhood near the industrial district. This is not the life I raised you for. He is a mechanic, and there is nothing wrong with honest work," Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. Her hands trembled slightly as she crossed her arms. "He is kind, intelligent, and he treats me better than anyone I have ever dated." Catherine laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Better than Jonathan Whitmore. Better than the Ashford boy. Maya, those men had prospects, futures. They came from good families. This Ryan person is unsuitable. Period." The bathroom door opened down the hall and both women fell silent. Ryan walked back into the kitchen, his expression carefully neutral, but Maya saw the tightness around his eyes. He had heard. Of course he had heard. "Mrs. Kensington, thank you for having me," Ryan said, his voice even and polite. "I think Maya and I should probably head out." The drive back to Maya's apartment was silent for the first 10 minutes. Ryan kept his eyes on the road, his jaw clenched. Maya wanted to apologize, to explain, but the words felt inadequate. "I am sorry," she finally said. "My mother can be judgmental. She does not know you." "She knows enough, apparently." Ryan glanced at her, and his expression softened slightly. "Maya, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Does it bother you, what I do for a living?" "No," Maya said immediately. "God, no, Ryan, I do not care about any of that." "But your mother does, and she is not going to change her mind." He pulled up to her building and put the truck in park. "I like you, Maya, I really like you. But I am not going to be the reason you lose your family." "You are not," Maya insisted. She reached for his hand. "Please do not let her get in your head. Give me time. She will come around." Ryan looked at their joined hands, then back at her face. "Okay," he said quietly. "Okay." But Maya could see the doubt in his eyes, and it terrified her. Over the next 3 weeks, Maya tried everything. She invited her mother to lunch and spent an hour listing Ryan's virtues. Ethic, his loyalty, above the way he waper. Volunteered at the community center, teaching kids basic car maintenance. Catherine listened with the patience of someone waiting for a child to finish a tantrum. "Darling, I am not saying he is a bad person," Catherine said, dabbing her lips with a cloth napkin. "I am saying he is not right for you. You went to Wellesley. You have a career in art curation. You deserve someone who can match your ambition, your background." "You mean someone with money," Maya said flatly. "Money is not everything, but it is not nothing either." Catherine leaned forward. "I have seen what happens when people marry below their station. The resentment builds. The cultural differences become insurmountable. I am trying to protect you from a mistake." Maya felt something harden in her chest. "The only mistake I am making is letting you have this much influence over my life." She left the restaurant without finishing her meal. That evening, she met Ryan at his garage. He owned the place, a fact her mother had somehow overlooked or dismissed. It was not a corporate chain, but a small, independent shop he had bought 3 years ago with money he had saved since he was 16. The garage was impeccably organized, tools hung in precise rows, the floor cleaner than most restaurants Maya had visited. Ryan was under a vintage Mustang when she arrived, only his legs visible. "Hand me the 3/4 socket," he called out. Maya looked at the tool chest, completely lost. "I have no idea what that is." He rolled out on the creeper, grease smudged on his cheek, and grinned up at her. "What are you doing here? I thought you had that gallery opening tonight." "I ditched it." She sat down on an overturned bucket next to him. "I needed to see you." His grin faded. "Your mom again. Can we please not talk about her?" Maya reached out and wiped the grease from his cheek with her thumb. "I just want to be here with you." Ryan sat up, studying her face. "Come here," he said softly, and pulled her into his arms. "For our motor pry. Oil and soap, and something distinctly him." She felt safe here, in this garage that smelled like work and ambition, with this man who looked at her like she was the most valuable thing in the room. "I love you," she said against his shoulder. The words surprised her, but the moment they left her mouth, she knew they were true. Ryan pulled back to look at her, his dark eyes intense. "Say that again." "I love you, Ryan." He kissed her then, slow and deep, and when he pulled away, he was smiling. "I love you too, Maya. I have loved you since that first night at the coffee shop when you ordered that ridiculous drink with 6 different modifiers, and then tipped the barista $20. Maya laughed, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. "It was a good drink." "It was an abomination," Ryan teased, then grew serious again. "I do not care what your mother thinks of me. Man for you. Magazine Ryan, you do not have profiles. To prove anything?" "Yeah, I do." He stood and helped her to her feet. "Not for her, for you. Because you deserve a family that supports your choices, and I am going to make sure she sees what I see when I look at you." "And what is that?" Maya asked. "Everything," Ryan said simply. 2 days later, Maya's father called. Thomas Kensington rarely involved himself in family drama, preferring to stay neutral in the Cold War between his wife and daughter. So when his name appeared on Maya's phone, she answered with apprehension. "Hi, Dad." "Maya, sweetheart, can you come by the house tomorrow? Your mother wants to talk." Maya groaned. "Dad, I really cannot handle another lecture about unsuitable men and squandered potential." I know," Thomas sighed. "But please come anyway for me. I promise I will be there as a buffer." She agreed, mostly because she hated the tired resignation in her father's voice. The next afternoon, Maya sat in her childhood living room, Ryan beside her, facing both her parents. She had insisted Ryan come, refusing to have another conversation about him without him present. Catherine looked like she had swallowed something bitter, but she maintained her composure. "Ryan, Maya tells me you own your garage." "Yes, ma'am, I bought it 3 years ago." "And how exactly does a young man afford to purchase a business?" The question was not quite an accusation, but close. Ryan did not flinch. "I saved aggressively from the time I got my first job at 14. I worked multiple jobs through high school and community college. I lived below my means, invested carefully, and when the opportunity came, I took out a small business loan for the remainder." "Community college," Catherine repeated as if the words themselves were distasteful. "Mom," Maya warned. Thomas cleared his throat. "Catherine, Cassandra." "Him. I am getting to know him, Thomas. I am learning about his background, his prospects." Catherine turned back to Ryan. "What are your plans for the future? Do you intend to remain a mechanic indefinitely? I intend to grow my business, Ryan said evenly. I am looking at opening a second location within the next 2 years. Eventually, I would like to expand into restoration work specifically. There is a strong market for vintage car restoration, and I have the skills and the connections to make it profitable. Maya watched her mother process this information. Catherine had probably expected Ryan to have no ambition beyond his current circumstances. The reality that he was a business owner with expansion plans seemed to throw her. And Maya, Catherine said, shifting her attention, have you thought about how this relationship affects your career, your reputation? My reputation. Maya felt anger flash through her. What decade are you living in, Mom? I am 26 years old and I am dating someone I care about. That is not a scandal. In our circles, it matters who you associate with. Then maybe I need different circles, Maya shot back. The room fell silent. Thomas looked uncomfortable. Catherine looked furious. Ryan squeezed Maya's hand. Mrs. Kensington. Ryan said quietly, I understand your concerns. I do. You want the best. For your daughter, and from your perspective, I do not fit the profile. But I love Maya. I respect her. I support her ambitions. And I will work every day to make sure she knows her worth. I cannot offer you a pedigree or a trust fund, but I can offer her a future built on honesty and partnership. Catherine stared at him for a long moment. That is a lovely speech, Ryan. But love does not pay the bills. Neither does a loveless marriage to someone suitable, Maya said. And before you bring up the Ashford boy again, he cheated on me. Twice. But he had the right last name, so I guess that made it okay. That is not fair, Maya. None of this is fair. Maya stood, pulling Ryan up with her. I came here because Dad asked me to. No, Aunt Ryan, because I wanted you to see. But you have already made up your mind, and I am done trying to change it. Ryan is not unsuitable. He is perfect for me, except he that added, then we do not need to keep having this conversation. She turned back. In the car was quiet. Maya watched the city lights blur past, her heart still racing from the confrontation. You okay? She asked. I should be asking you that, Ryan said. He pulled into a parking spot overlooking the harbor and turned off the engine. Maya, I meant what I said in there. I love you, and I am not going anywhere. But I also do not want to be the wedge between you and your family. You are not the wedge, her expectations are. Maya unbuckled her seatbelt and turned to face him. Ryan, I need you to understand something. My mother has controlled my life for as long as I can remember. What I studied, where I worked, who I dated. And every single time I let her, I ended up miserable. You are the first choice I have made entirely for myself, and you are the first one that has made me genuinely happy. Ryan cupped her face in his hands. You make me happy too, happier than I ever thought I could be. They kissed, and Maya felt the stress of the evening melt away. Whatever happened with her mother, she knew she had made the right choice. 3 weeks passed with no contact from Catherine. Thomas called occasionally, carefully avoiding mention of the situation, asking about work and weather. Maya knew her mother was waiting for her to cave, to come crawling back with an apology and a breakup announcement. It was her typical strategy, and it had worked in the past. But Maya was not the same woman who had folded under pressure before. She threw herself into work and her relationship with Ryan. They fell into an easy rhythm, comfortable and genuine. He would pick her up from the gallery, grease still under his fingernails but his hands clean, and they would grab dinner at hole-in-the-wall restaurants her mother would never enter. On weekends, they drove to the coast or explored flea markets or stayed in bed until noon. It was during one of these lazy Sunday mornings that Ryan's phone rang insistently. He groaned and reached for it, squinting at the screen. "I need to take this," he said, suddenly alert. "It is Marcus." Maya knew Marcus was Ryan's business partner in some capacity, though Ryan had been vague on the details. She watched as Ryan got out of bed and took the call in the other room, his voice too low to hear clearly. When he came back 15 minutes later, he looked distracted. "Everything okay?" Maya asked. "Yeah, just some business stuff I need to handle," he kissed her forehead. "I am sorry, I need to go into the office for a few hours. Rain check on brunch." "Of course." After he left, Maya felt a small niggle of uncertainty. Ryan had never been secretive before, but there was something in his expression that felt guarded. She pushed the thought away. Everyone was entitled to private business matters. But over the next week, the pattern repeated. Mysterious phone calls, sudden meetings, late nights at the office. Diastnbeautifulexctly, but he was distracted. Maya tried not to let her. Mother's voice creep into her head. "He is hiding something. He is not who you think he is." But the doubt, once planted, was hard to ignore. Finally, one evening when Ryan canceled dinner last minute, Maya decided to confront him. "Ryan, what is going on?" she asked when he called to apologize. "You have been weird all week." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "I am sorry. I know I have been absent. There is just a lot happening with the business right now." "What kind of things? Talk to me." "I will, I promise, just not over the phone," he sighed. "Can you meet me tomorrow night?" 7 o'clock at the garage. "Okay," Maya said slowly. "Ryan, you are scaring me a little." "Do not be scared. I promise everything is fine. Better than fine. I just need to handle a few things first, and then I will explain everything." She wanted to push, but something in his voice stopped her. "Okay, 7 tomorrow. I love you, Maya." "I love you too." But when she hung up, the unease remained. The next day dragged interminably. Maya tried to focus on cataloging a new acquisition at the gallery, but her mind kept wandering. Right, Ryan spearing a piece of chicken with his fork. They had only been dating for 4 months. That was not very long in the grand scheme of things. By the time 7 o'clock arrived, Maya had worked herself into a state of anxiety. She pulled up to the garage to find it dark except for a light in the office. Ryan's truck was there, along with a sleek black Mercedes she did not recognize. She door, Jonathan S.E. "Ryan." "In here," he called from the office. Sitting at his, she was perfect on paper. Desk, paperwork spread everywhere, and another man in an expensive suit standing by the window. The man turned when she entered, and Maya stopped short. She recognized him. Everyone in the city would. Marcus Holloway, founder of Holloway Industries, one of the largest manufacturing conglomerates on the East Coast. Billionaire, philanthropist, business icon. "Maya, this is Marcus Holloway," Ryan said, standing. "Marcus, this is my girlfriend, Admire Elena Kensington." Eyes Marcus extended his hand with a warm smile. "A pleasure to meet you, Maya. Ryan has told me wonderful things." Maya shook his hand automatically, completely confused. Nice to meet you too." "Not just in relationships," Ryan said, and there was something nervous in his expression. I wanted you to meet him because what we have been working on affects you, affects us. I will leave you two to talk, Marcus said smoothly. Ryan, send me those. Final numbers tomorrow. Maya, truly a pleasure. He nodded to both of them and left. Maya waited until she heard the Mercedes pull away before turning to Ryan. What the hell is going on? Ryan ran a hand through his hair. Okay, so I have not been entirely upfront with you about something. Not because I wanted to lie, but because the timing was complicated. Ryan, you are freaking me out. I know I am sorry. He came around the desk and took her hands. Maya, this garage, it is not my only business. It is where I started, where I learned, but about 5 years ago, I developed a proprietary system for electric vehicle charging infrastructure. I patented it, started a company, and Marcus invested. We have been scaling up, and last month, we got a contract with 3 major automotive manufacturers. Maya stared at him. What are you saying? I am saying that I am not just a mechanic who owns a garage. I mean, I am. But I am also the CEO of Charge Point Innovations. We are about to go public and the valuation is. He paused. Maya, I am a billionaire. On paper, at least. Once the IPO goes through, it will be official. The room seemed to tilt. Maya pulled her hands away and sat down hard in the office chair. You are a what? I know this is a lot to process. A lot. Ryan, you let my mother call you unsuitable for weeks. You let her judge you, insult you, and you never said anything. Because it was not about the money, Ryan said earnestly. Maya, if I had told you that first night at the coffee shop that I was wealthy, would you have given me a real chance? Or would you have seen me as just another rich guy? I do not know, Maya said honestly. Her head was spinning. And your mother, if she knew, she would have welcomed me with open arms, but for all the wrong reasons. I wanted her to accept me for who I am, not what I have. Ryan knelt in front of her chair. I kept the garage because I love it. I love working with my hands, building something tangible. The other business, it is important and I am proud of it, but this place is my heart. Maya looked around the small office, at the calendar still stuck on 2 months ago, at the coffee mug that said world's okayest boss. You really are a billionaire. I really am. And you were going to tell me when. I am telling you now. I wanted to wait until the IPO was finalized, until it was real and public. I did not want you to feel blindsided when it hit the news. He searched her face. Are you angry? Maya took a breath, trying to organize her thoughts. I do not know what I am. Shocked, confused. A little mad that you let my mother think you were just a mechanic. I am a mechanic, that is not a lie. But it is not the whole truth either. She met his eyes. What else have you not told me? Nothing that matters. Maya, my feelings for you, everything we have shared, that is completely real. The money does not change who I am. But it changes how the world sees you. How my mother will see you. Maya felt a hysterical laugh bubble up. Oh my God, my mother is going to lose her mind. Ryan cracked a smile. Is that a bad thing? I do not know yet. Maya stood, needing space to think. She walked to the window, looking out at the empty parking lot. When does this go public? 2 weeks. There will be press coverage, interviews. My name and face are going to be everywhere for a while. And you wanted to prepare me for that. Yes, and I wanted to tell you the truth before you heard it from someone else. Ryan came up behind her but did not touch her. Maya, I understand if you need time to process this. I know it is a lot. Maya turned to face him. Did you think I would care about the money? No. But I thought you might care that I kept it from you. She considered that. I wish you had told me sooner, But I understand why you did not. She stepped closer. Ryan, I fell in love with the guy who teaches kids about cars and who knows the name of every server at our regular restaurants. The money is just a detail. An enormous detail, Ryan said wryly. Fine, an enormous detail, but it does not change how I feel about you. Relief washed over Ryan's face. He pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. I love you so much. I love you too, you secretive billionaire. Maya pulled back to look at him. But we are telling my mother together, and I get to watch her face when she realizes how wrong she was about you. Ryan laughed. Deal. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind. Ryan brought Maya into his other world, Catherine B.O. RDROOMHUGGSED and them conference see both LE1S and Orasness Zisness strategies. She met his team at Charge Point Innovations, brilliant engineers and savvy marketers who clearly respected Ryan immensely. She saw him command a room full of investors with the same confidence he used when explaining engine repair to a nervous customer at the garage. Sides of him, Maya thought about it. He ILLUMI asked a TING. Ryan was the same. Person in both worlds, honest, hardworking, passionate. He just operated on different scales. The night before the IPO announcement, Ryan took Maya to dinner at the most expensive restaurant in the city. She wore a dress she had been saving for a special occasion, and he wore a suit that made her mouth go dry. You clean up nice, she said when he picked her up. So do you. His eyes traveled over her in a way that made her blush. You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. At dinner, they sat by the window overlooking the city lights. Painting soft, and they ate EACCUMULATING food that was Eeyore Waroth, and at then SUCCESS Sestangs. Tomorrow everything changes, Ryan said, reaching across the table for her hand. Are you nervous? Terrified, he admitted. Not about the business. That will succeed or fail on its own merits. But about what it means for us, for our privacy, for our normal life. We will figure it out, Maya said, together. I want you with me tomorrow at the announcement. Ryan squeezed her hand. I know it is going to be a circus, but I need you there. Of course I will be there. After dinner, Ryan drove them back to his place, a modest house in a quiet neighborhood that he had bought before his company took off. Maya had asked him once why he did not live somewhere more impressive, and he had shrugged and said he liked having neighbors who borrowed lawn mowers and complained about garbage collection. That night, they made love slowly, tenderly, like they were memorizing each other. The baby settled, and certain he DESPITE the LIST chaos ENLOOSMI to NGU are already horizon. The next morning, the announcement went live. Charge Point Innovations was going public, and Ryan's face was suddenly everywhere. They channels S T there for another SEGMENTMOSM, ENT, meteoric rise of the young. CEO. Tech magazines published profiles. Social media exploded with reactions. Maya stood beside Ryan at the press conference, slightly off camera, watching him handle the attention with grace and humility. He credited his team, his investors, his early customers. He talked about the importance of sustainable technology and infrastructure. He was brilliant and articulate, and Maya felt pride swell in her chest. Her phone buzzed in her purse. She pulled it out to see 17 missed calls from her mother. After the conference, in the quiet of Ryan's office, Maya finally called Catherine back. Maya Catherine Kensington, what on earth is going on? Her mother's voice was shrill. I just saw the news. That mechanic you have been dating is a billionaire. The Ryan who is going public with some massive company is your Ryan. Hello to you too, Mom. Do not be smart with me. Why did you not tell me? I just found out myself recently, Maya said. And honestly, I wanted you to judge him on who he is, not what he has. There was silence on the other end. Then Catherine said in a quieter voice, I want to meet with him again, properly. Why? Mom, we do not need to rehash that. That is not fair. Is it not? Maya felt all the anger from the past months rising up. Mom, you called him unsuitable. You questioned his prospects, his background, his worth. You made assumptions based on his job and where he lives. Now that you know he is rich, suddenly he is worth your time. That is exactly the kind of shallow judgment I did not want influencing this relationship. I was trying to protect you, Catherine said, but her voice wavered. No, you were trying to control me. There is a difference. Maya softened slightly. Mom, I love him. I loved him when I thought he was just a garage owner, and I love him now. The money does not matter to me. It should matter a little, darling. Practical considerations are important. Fine. Then here is a practical consideration. Ryan is kind, loyal, ambitious, and treats me like an equal partner. He supports my career. ECTRES my SPECTS my opinions, happier than I have and ever been. That is what matters. Not his bank account, not his pedigree, not whether he fits your idea of suitable. Another pause. You really love him. I really do, Catherine sighed. Then I suppose I owe both of you an apology. Will you come to dinner this weekend? You and Ryan, let me try again. Maya looked over at Ryan, who was watching her with concern. She covered the phone. My mom wants us to come to dinner. She wants to apologize. Ryan raised his eyebrows. Do you want to go? Only if you are comfortable with it. I am comfortable with anything that helps repair your relationship with your family, Ryan said. Tell her yes. Maya returned to the phone. Okay, Mom. Saturday night. Thank you, sweetheart, and Maya, I am sorry I should have trusted your judgment. It was not a full apology, but it was a start. Saturday evening, Maya and Ryan dressed carefully for dinner. Ryan wore dark slacks and a button-down shirt, the sleeves rolled to his elbows. Maya chose a simple dress, elegant but not showy. Ready? Ryan asked as they pulled up to her parents' house. As I will ever be. Thomas answered the door, figure at his expression brightening. When he saw them, Maya, Ryan, come in, come in. He shook Ryan's hand warmly. Good to see you again, son. Catherine was waiting in the living room, and for the first time Maya could remember, her mother looked uncertain. Ryan, Maya, thank you for coming. They sat, the atmosphere awkward. Thomas offered drinks, playing host to break the tension. Ryan, Catherine began, I owe you an apology. I made assumptions about you that were unfair and unkind. I let my own preconceptions cloud my judgment, and I am sorry. Ryan nodded. I appreciate that, Mrs. Kensington. Please call me Catherine. She twisted her hands together. I have spent the last few days reading about your company, your work. It is impressive, truly. But more than that, Ryan was the only I have been thinking about what Maya said, about judging you on who you are rather than what you have. And, Maya prompted, and she is right. I have been a snob, and I have let that affect my relationship with my daughter. Catherine looked at Maya with tears in her eyes. I do not want to lose you over this. If Ryan makes you happy, then I want to know him, really know him. The dinner that followed was still slightly stilted, but genuine effort was made on all sides. Catherine asked Ryan about his childhood, his path to entrepreneurship, his hopes for the future. She listened, really listened, and Maya could see her mother's perspective shifting. Thomas regaled them with stories from Maya's childhood, embarrassing anecdotes that made Ryan laugh and Maya groan. The wine flowed, and the conversation became easier. After dessert, Catherine pulled Maya aside while the men talked business in the other room. "He is good for you," Catherine said quietly. "I can see it in your eyes. You are happy." "I am, Mom. Really happy. That is all I want for you, sweetheart. I am sorry I made you feel otherwise." Catherine hugged her, and Maya hugged back, feeling years of tension ease. In the car on the way home, Ryan was quiet. "You okay?" Maya asked. "That went better than I expected," Ryan said. "Your mom actually seemed sincere." "She was. I have never seen her that humble before." Maya reached for his hand. "Thank you for being patient with her, with all of this. Your family is important to you, which makes them important to me." Ryan brought her hand to his lips and kissed her knuckles. "Besides, I like your dad. He is funny." "He is," Maya smiled. "This is good, right? Us, my family, everything settling into place." "It is better than good. It is perfect." The months that followed were transformative. Charge Point Innovations exploded in value. To TRURYST her, a N, one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the country. Media attention was intense, but Ryan handled it with the same steady composure he brought to everything. Maya continued working at the gallery, refusing to let Ryan's wealth change her career path. She loved her work, and he respected that. They found a rhythm that worked, balancing his increasingly public life with their private relationship. Catherine, true to her word, made genuine efforts to know Ryan. She invited them to family events, asked about his business without making it the only topic of conversation, and slowly began to see him as a person rather than a category. One evening, 6 months after the IPO, Catherine pulled Ryan aside at a family gathering. "I need to say something to you," she told him. They were on the back patio, away from the others. Ryan braced himself. "Okay. I was wrong about you, completely, utterly wrong." Catherine looked him in the eye. "You are not just suitable for my daughter. You are the best thing that has ever happened to her. I see the way you look at her, the way you support her dreams, the way you make her laugh. That is worth more than any pedigree or trust fund." Ryan felt emotion tighten his throat. "That means a lot, Catherine. Thank you. And I want to apologize again, more fully this time. I let my prejudices hurt both of you, and I am ashamed of that. You have shown tremendous grace in forgiving me." "Family is complicated," Ryan said, "but it is worth fighting for. Maya loves you, and that is enough for me." Catherine smiled, her eyes misty. "You are a good man, Ryan. I am grateful Maya found you." When they returned inside, Maya caught Ryan's eye and mouthed, "What was that about?" "Tell you later," he mouthed back, smiling. That night, lying in bed in the house they now shared, a beautiful brownstone they had chosen together, Maya curled into Ryan's side. "My mom really likes you now," she said. "It is kind of weird." Ryan laughed. "Is it weird that I like her too? She is mellowed out a lot. I think she realized how close she came to losing me. It scared her." Maya traced patterns on his chest. "I am glad we got through all of that. The disapproval, the secrets, the adjustment period." "Me too." Ryan kissed the top of her head. Maya, I have been thinking about something. Dangerous, she teased. Serious for a second. He shifted so he could see her face. We have been together for a year now. We have weathered family drama, public scrutiny, and a complete upheaval of our normal lives. Through all of it, you have been my constant, my partner, my home. Maya's heart started beating faster. Ryan, I love you more than I thought it was possible to love anyone. You make me better, braver, happier. He reached into the nightstand drawer and pulled out a small velvet box. Maya Kensington, will you marry me? He opened the box to reveal a stunning ring, a deep blue sapphire surrounded by diamonds. It was unique and beautiful and so perfectly suited to her taste that Maya felt tears spring to her eyes. Yes, she whispered. Yes, absolutely yes. Ryan slipped the ring onto her finger, and they kissed like it was the first time and the 1,000th time all at once. When they broke apart, both were crying and laughing. I love you so much, Maya said. I cannot believe this is real. Believe it. Ryan held her close. You are stuck with me now. Best decision I ever made. They called their families the next morning. Thomas answered cheerfully and whooped with joy when they told him. Catherine cried happy tears and immediately started talking about wedding plans before Maya gently told her they would discuss details later. The engagement made news, of course. Billionaire CEO Ryan Hayes engaged to art curator Maya Kensington. Photos of them at various events circulated. Maya's private social media suddenly got thousands of follow requests, which she ignored. But through the chaos, they remained grounded in each other. They still had date nights at their favorite cheap restaurants. Ryan still worked at the garage on weekends when he needed to clear his head. Maya still went to gallery openings and art shows, Ryan beside her, asking thoughtful questions about pieces he did not fully understand but appreciated because she loved them. The wedding, when it came 8 months later, was a perfect blend of both their worlds. The ceremony was held at a historic estate, elegant but not ostentatious. Maya wore a gown that made her feel like herself, classic and simple, with unexpected details. Ryan wore a tuxedo and cried when he saw her walking down the aisle. Catherine and Thomas sat in the front row, beaming with pride. Marcus Holloway was there, along with Ryan's team from both the garage and charge point. Maya's colleagues from the gallery filled several rows. The community center kids Ryan mentored showed up in their best clothes, scrubbed clean and grinning. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, there was only joyful silence. I, Ryan, take you, Maya, to be my wife, Ryan said, his voice strong and clear. I promise to love you in all your phases and moods, to support your dreams even when they scare me, to be honest even when it is hard, and to choose you every single day for the rest of my life. Maya squeezed his hands, her own vows ready. I, Maya, take you, Ryan, to be my husband. I promise to see you for who you truly are, to celebrate your successes and support you through failures, to build a life with you based on partnership and respect, and to love you more with every passing year. They exchanged rings, simple platinum bands engraved with their wedding date, and when the officiant pronounced them married, the room erupted in applause. At the reception, Catherine approached Maya during a quiet moment. You look beautiful, sweetheart, she said, adjusting Maya's veil unnecessarily, and happy, so incredibly happy. I am, Mom. I need to tell you something. Catherine took her daughter's hands. I almost cost you this. My stubbornness, my judgment, I almost drove you away from the best thing in your life. I will regret that forever. But you came around, Maya said gently. That is what matters. Ryan proved me wrong in every way, not by being wealthy, but by being exactly who you needed. Someone who sees your value, who celebrates your strength, who loves you unconditionally. Catherine's eyes filled with tears. I am so sorry it took me so long to see what you saw all along. I love you, Mom, and I forgive you. They hugged tightly, years of complicated history woven into the embrace. Later, during the father-daughter dance, Thomas whispered to Maya, "You chose well, sweetheart. That man adores you." "I adore him too, Dad. I know, it is written all over both your faces." Thomas spun her gently. "Your mother and I, we just want you to be happy. I am sorry. We did not always show that in the right ways. You are showing it now. That is enough." When Maya danced with Ryan, the rest of the room faded away. It was just them, moving together like they had done this 1,000 times. "How are you feeling, Mrs. Hayes?" Ryan murmured. "Like the luckiest woman alive, Mr. Hayes." "That is funny, because I was just thinking I am the luckiest man alive." He pulled her closer. "We are going to have an amazing life together." "I know we are." The reception lasted late into the night, filled with laughter and dancing and toasts that ranged from heartfelt to hilarious. Marcus gave a speech about Ryan's business acumen, but spent most of it talking about his integrity and kindness. Maya's best friend from college told embarrassing stories. Thomas offered fatherly advice with tears in his eyes. When Catherine stood to speak, the room quieted. "I want to share something," she began, her voice wavering slightly. "When Maya first brought Ryan home, I did not see what she saw. I saw someone I deemed unsuitable based on superficial criteria. I was wrong, and I almost lost my daughter because of my narrow-mindedness." She looked directly at Ryan. "Ryan, you proved me wrong not by revealing your wealth or success, but by showing me what real worth looks like. It is in how you treat my daughter with respect and tenderness. It is in how you pursue your passions with integrity. It is in how you make everyone around you feel valued and heard." Catherine's voice broke. "You are not just suitable for Maya. You are the only man suitable for her. Because you are the only one who loves her exactly as she is and encourages her to be even more. Thank you for forgiving my judgment and for loving my daughter so completely. Welcome to our family, truly and deeply." There was not a dry eye in the room. Ryan stood and hugged Catherine, and Maya saw her mother whisper something to him that made him nod, both of them crying. As the night wound down and guests began to leave, Maya and Ryan stood at the door thanking everyone. The garage kids hugged Ryan tightly, making him promise to still come teach them. Maya's gallery colleagues air-kissed her cheeks and admired her ring. Finally, it was just family left. Catherine hugged them both one more time. "Be happy, you two. That is all that matters." "We will," Maya promised. In the limousine taking them to the hotel where they would spend their wedding night before flying to Italy for their honeymoon, Ryan pulled Maya close. "Did you ever imagine we would end up here?" he asked. "When we met at that coffee shop, did you think this is where we would be a year and a half later?" Maya thought about it. "I think part of me hoped. There was something about you, even then, something real and solid and trustworthy. I knew the moment you smiled at me," Ryan confessed. "I knew you were going to change my life. We changed each other's lives. For the better, definitely for the better." 2 years later, Maya stood in the nursery of their brownstone, painting soft clouds on the pale blue walls. Her hand rested on her rounded belly, feeling the baby kick. Ryan appeared in the doorway, still in his suit from a board meeting but with his tie loosened and sleeves rolled up. "How are my two favorite people?" "Your son is very active today," Maya said, stepping back to admire her work. "And I am getting too big to be doing this. Can you take over the detail work?" "Of course." Ryan came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her and resting his hands over hers on her belly. "Hi, buddy. Calm down in there. Let your mom rest." As if responding to his father's voice, the baby settled. Maya leaned back against Ryan's chest. "He listens to you already." "Because I am very wise and authoritative," Ryan joked. Then more seriously, "Are you happy, Maya? Really happy? Are you really asking me that? I just want to make sure." "With the baby coming and your reduced hours at the gallery and all the changes, I want to know you are okay." Maya turned in his arms to face him. "Ryan Hayes, I am deliriously happy. I have a career I love, a family that supports us, a mother who has become one of my best friends, and a husband who asks me if I am happy while standing in a nursery we painted together." "How could I be anything but okay?" Ryan kissed her softly. "I love you." "I love you too." The baby kicked again, making them both laugh. 3 months later, Maya gave birth to a healthy baby boy they named Thomas Ryan Hayes, honoring both his grandfathers. Catherine was the first to visit the hospital, bearing flowers and tears, and an enthusiasm Maya had never seen from her mother. "He is perfect," Catherine whispered, holding her grandson for the first time. "Absolutely perfect." Thomas stood beside his wife, one arm around her shoulders, looking at his namesake with wonder. "You two made a beautiful baby." "We did good," Ryan agreed, his arm around Maya as she rested in the hospital bed, exhausted but glowing. Over the next few weeks, Catherine proved to be a doting grandmother, visiting often but never overstaying, offering help but not unsolicited advice. One afternoon, while Ryan was at work and the baby napped, Catherine and Maya sat in the living room with tea. "I have been thinking a lot about when you first brought Ryan home," Catherine said out of the blue. "Mom, we do not need to rehash that. I know, but I want to say this." Catherine set down her cup. "I could have missed all of this. Your wedding, your happiness, my grandson. Because I was so fixated on what I thought you needed instead of listening to what you were telling me. But you came around. That is what matters. I came around because Ryan proved himself, and you stood your ground. But what if you had not? What if you had let my disapproval influence your choices?" Catherine's eyes were serious. "I would have cost you the love of your life, and I would have deserved to lose you for it." Maya reached over and squeezed her mother's hand. "You did not, though. And we are here now, all of us together. That is what I choose to focus on. You are a better person than I am, sweetheart." "I learned from the best," Maya said with a smile. "The version of you who learned to apologize and change and grow. That is who I learned from." Catherine wiped her eyes. "When did you become so wise?" "I married a wise man. It rubbed off." That evening, when Ryan came home to find Maya and the baby asleep on the couch, he stood in the doorway just watching them. His family. His entire world contained in this room. Maya stirred, feeling his presence. "Hey, how long have you been standing there?" "Not long." He sat beside her carefully, looking at their sleeping son, "just thinking about how lucky I am." "We are both lucky. Your mom stopped by." "She did. We had a good talk." Maya shifted the baby gently. "She said something interesting. She said she could have missed all of this because of her stubbornness. But she did not miss it. No, because you proved you were the only suitable man for me." Maya looked at him with all the love in her heart. "Not by being wealthy or successful, but by being you. By loving me enough to weather her disapproval. By seeing me for who I really am." Ryan cupped her face in his hand. That was the easiest thing I have ever done. Loving you is the simplest, most natural thing in my life. Even with a screaming newborn and sleepless nights and my post-pregnancy emotions. Especially then. He kissed her forehead. You are my home, Maya. You and this little guy, nothing else matters. The baby woke then, making small, hungry noises. Maya laughed. Your son has impeccable timing. He gets that from you, Ryan teased, taking the baby while Maya got ready to feed him. As Maya nursed their son, Ryan's arm around her shoulders, she thought about the journey that had brought them here. From that first meeting at the coffee shop to her mother's harsh judgment, from Ryan's revelation about his wealth to their wedding day, from her mother's transformation to this moment of perfect domestic peace. What are you thinking about? Ryan asked softly. How every hard moment was worth it to get here. Even your mom calling me unsuitable, especially that. Because you proved her so completely wrong that she had no choice but to see the truth. Which is, that you are not just suitable, you are everything. Ryan kissed her temple. So are you, baby. So are you. Outside, the city hummed with its usual energy. Inside, the Hayes family existed in their own bubble of love and peace. Maya looked around their home, at the photos on the walls chronicling their journey, at the baby in her arms who represented their future, at the man beside her who had become her everything. She thought about her mother's words from the wedding, about how Ryan was the only suitable man for her. Catherine had been right, but not in the way she originally meant. Ryan was not suitable because of his bank account or his business success. He was suitable because he loved Maya unconditionally, supported her dreams, challenged her to grow, and built a partnership based on mutual respect and genuine affection. He was suitable because when the world judged him on superficial criteria, he stayed true to himself. Because when her mother called him unsuitable, he did not lash out or demand respect. He simply lived his life with integrity and let his actions speak for themselves. He was suitable because he made her happy, truly and deeply happy, in a way she had never experienced before. And in the end, that was all that ever mattered. Years later, when people asked Maya about her love story, she would smile and say it was not a fairy tale. It was better. It was real. It was choosing each other every day, working through hard moments, growing together, and building a life based on honesty and love. She would tell them about her mother's initial disapproval and eventual transformation, about Ryan's revelation and her choice to love him regardless of his wealth, about the family they built and the happiness they found. But mostly, she would tell them that the greatest loves are not the easiest ones. They are the ones worth fighting for. The ones that challenge you to be better, braver, more honest. The ones that survive judgment and obstacles and doubt because underneath everything, the foundation is solid. Ryan proved he was the only suitable man for Maya, not by meeting her mother's arbitrary standards, but by exceeding every standard that actually mattered. By being himself, fully and unapologetically. By loving Maya with his whole heart. By building a life with her that honored both their dreams. And Maya proved she was strong enough to stand up for love, to trust her own judgment over her mother's expectations, to choose happiness over approval. Together, they proved that suitability was not about money or status or background. It was about compatibility, respect, partnership, and love. It was about seeing each other clearly and choosing each other anyway. It was about building something real in a world that often valued the superficial. As they grew old together, raising their children and then grandchildren, working on their respective passions, supporting each other through triumphs and setbacks, Maya and Ryan never forgot the early days. The judgment they faced, the obstacles they overcame, the love that sustained them through it all. And Catherine, transformed by her own narrow-minded mistakes into a woman of grace and wisdom, would tell anyone who listened that her son-in-law was the finest man she knew. Not because he was a billionaire, but because he loved her daughter with unwavering devotion. Because he proved that true worth comes from character, not credentials. He was always suitable, Catherine would say in her later years, holding her grandchildren close. I was just too blind to see it. Thank goodness Maya was not. And in the end, that was the real story. Not about a billionaire proving his worth to a judgmental mother, but about two people who loved each other enough to weather the storm. About a mother who learned to see past her prejudices. About a family that grew stronger through adversity. About love winning as it always should. The end came not with dramatic fanfare but with quiet contentment. Maya and Ryan, decades into their marriage, still holding hands across the dinner table, still laughing at inside jokes, still choosing each other every single day. Because Ryan had proven himself long ago, but he never stopped proving it. Not through grand gestures, but through the small, daily acts of love and partnership. And Maya had proven that she was strong enough to follow her heart, wise enough to see true value, and brave enough to fight for what mattered. Together, they built a life that was not perfect but was perfectly theirs. And that was more than suitable. It was everything.